personalized learning, we first semester we kind of dabbled in it just to get everybody into a comfort mode and to get them into thinking differently and to start thinking outside of the box. And because it's not a big it's a transition for our students, but it's also a transition for our facilitators. And as our learners are getting this, the facilitators are learning it at the same time. And moving from there into this semester, we changed our schedule to accommodate the time that was needed to ensure that we're meeting the needs of our learners. Also, this semester we changed to station rotations within every classroom. So every teacher should have 3 different stations set up in their classroom, depending on what the learners need. Digital content, direct instruction, could be independent work, use of technology within all of those spectrums, not just in the digital content section. I see it as we're trying to get to the point where we stop spoon feeding our kids. And also we stop trying to get to the point where teachers are spraying and praying and hoping that everybody gets it instead of tailoring to the individual needs of our learners.
We've grown, especially the social studies department. We started out on 8th grade as, I guess, the ones who decided to jump in head first. We started out with just moving students, kind of shifting them about, kind of having the station rotation in the classroom. Then we went from that to establishing our strengths with direct instruction for one teacher, project-based learning for another, and tech for another teacher. And now that we have even progressed further than that, we all 3 have direct instruction, but we're now moving students based on where they are in the standards. And as students progress, they're moved to other teachers. And so we're seeing a more personalized learning as opposed to just blended learning. So I'm really excited about that.
For mathematics, the transition from traditional teaching to personalized learning, it has been a very slow process for us. We've been doing standards-based grading for a very long time, so that has been implemented in our classrooms, and we kind of gradually moved into personalized learning. I think the teachers have had a thought process change over this year mostly, where we've kind of had to change our methodology from just giving students information and just being the sage on the stage to having our students more look at how they're going to get to that next step. And I think the students are taking it on slowly. They are struggling with it as the teachers are, but we are struggling together, and I think it's a good struggle where the teachers and the students are gradually getting to that personalized learning aspect.
Again, we want our learners to become critical thinkers because now, and for the last, especially with our 8th graders, for the last 8 years, they've been spoon-fed everything.
I think the biggest roadblock has been scheduling. We had to work through some of the kinks, especially on my side, on the special education side, making sure services are implemented. And we finally found a way to kind of work it all together. And I think it'll even be better next year. So that was kind of the biggest challenge, but it was something we were able to overcome.
One of the things that we're pushing for the end of this school year and also in the beginning of the summer during post-planning and then after post-planning is to ensure that our teachers have enough professional development to be comfortable coming into the classroom in August and ready to receive our learners and ready to get them moving and moving forward with their learning.
Well, from last year, it's different because last year the teacher would stand up and talk to us in front of the whole class, and a lot of kids didn't pay attention to that because some kids need one-on-one help. So personalized learning allows for some kids who are ahead of the game to go ahead and do what they need to do, while the kids who still need help can come back to the teacher and get help that they need.
There's different areas to where you can focus. There's direct instruction where the teacher has, a small group, to where that was a lot different from last year where you had a whole entire class and some people were just skylarking and they weren't doing their work. So there's also technology. We focus a lot on technology. That's why
I like that we can use our technology because we're always, it's something that
kids nowadays, like, they use all the time. So it's cool that we can develop that into our learning. So it's, it's always with us, and it's like it's just something that you can use all the time and something you're familiar with.
What do you?
I feel like it's because we can go at our own speed. From last year, if you felt like you were ahead, you couldn't go ahead. You had to stay with the rest of the classroom. So I feel that it's a lot better for me now. So if I want to go ahead, I can already go ahead, and I don't have to be held behind.
First semester, a lot of our parents were really concerned because their whole focus was Edgenuity. And I explained to them that Edgenuity is a tool, it is a resource that we're using. Everything that our learners do is not on Edgenuity. They have other resources that the teachers are using within their classrooms to ensure that our learners are getting what the expected learning is from the standards. So it's not just Edgenuity. Edgenuity is a resource, and we're using it that way. We also have other resources.
The parents with personalized learning, they are as well kind of struggling with the change from traditional to more of a personalized, where the students have more accountability for what they are learning each day. With that comes the good and the bad. The students, of course, are the biggest reporters. If you can get the students on board, then the parents go on board with them.
They actually like the idea of moving on their own. We have some kids who are just flying through curriculum like there's no tomorrow, and they like that. They like to be able to move. And it gives this chance for our strugglers not to be lost in the classroom, that we can actually address their needs one-on-one, pretty much. And so I think that most kids, we have a few who are, I want my traditional back, but I think it's just the difference in change. We, as teachers and facilitators and the learners, also have issues with change.
Well, in special education, a lot of it is personalized already, with interventions and IEP goals and accommodations. All those things kind of work well with personalized learning, so I think it'll be a good mix. For next year, I think that we will be able to provide more support because there's flexibility. And a lot of times the challenge in the past has been with special education in the general ed setting is that sometimes they fall behind. But now, if you're a little behind, it's okay. And I think that creates a different culture for the students, for them to know it's okay to be a little behind. Of course, we have to make sure they don't get too behind. There's a line, but I think that it changes the mindset, and I think that's what's going to be important in ensuring their success.
So the excitement of seeing our school completely change from a traditional school to a personalized school is really what's exciting me.
The thing I'm most excited about is the students being able to work at their own pace and having flexibility for the students to be able to say, I'm going to spend 2 more weeks on this, but I'm going to master the content. And I think that's really exciting for them to be able to show their mastery, but maybe not at the same pace as everybody else.
What has me most excited about the first day of school is just our learners coming into a totally different environment where they're not sitting in rows in a classroom, where they're not sitting and getting information from their facilitators, where they are actively engaged in their learning. That's what we're looking at. And also having them to start thinking critically and stop thinking about just basic things, because the rigor in the classroom has to be increased, because we've got to get to the point where our students are taking ownership of their learning.